cleaning isn't derogatory. Come with me as I clean my house and I will homeschool you. The epistles in the Bible are not written in chronological order, which means they aren't in the order that they happened, and most of them weren't even written by Paul. We can think about the epistles in three categories, and layer one is the undisputed letters of Paul, and this was written around 50 CE. This includes Romans and Galatians and 1 Corinthians. And in this early layer, Christianity was still like an apocalyptic movement. It was meeting in house churches, and women were not only present, they were leaders. Paul names Phoebe a deacon and a patron. He names Junia as an outstanding apostle. And he names Priscilla a co-leader and teacher. And we see Paul quoting that famous baptismal formula from Galatians 3. There is neither Jew or Greek, bond or free, male or female, we are all one in Christ. Then we have the second layer, epistles written between 70 and 90 AD. These are things like Ephesians and Colossians. And you might wonder, what changed? After the Romans destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD, the second generation Christians experienced a lot of imperial scrutiny. At the time, movements that had women in leadership were seen by the Roman world as subversive and dangerous and immoral. And to survive, the church started adopting Roman household codes. Decades after the first epistles, we see Roman civil rules imported into the church in books like Ephesians and Colossians. And we hear those famous verses, "Wives, submit to your husbands." This brings us to the third category of epistles written between 90 and 110 CE. Here's where we get the famous 1 Timothy. By the time 1 Timothy was written, the church was fully institutionalizing itself into Roman culture. This meant mirroring Roman law. And here is where we get that infamous verse from 1 Timothy, just says, a woman should be silent, should not have authority over a man. I hope you notice the trajectory here. In the 50s, women are an essential part of the ministry along with all the disciples and apostles. Around the 70s, that changes and women are expected to be kind of quieter. And by the 90s, in the turn of the first century, it is now solidified that for the church to survive, it must be in tune with power. And the only power acceptable at the time is patriarchal power. Prohibition of women to be teachers and pastors is not the gospel. It was a survival tactic so that the church could look respectable to ancient Roman magistrates. The Anglican Church celebrates 50 years of women's ordination this year, and I think it's important to have these kinds of conversations. Not so much the comment, but just the conversation. So, my name is Geraldine. I'm an Anglican priest. Follow along.